Hey everybody, welcome back. On this episode, I'm going to show you the first couple things I'm going to tackle on the Northern Lite. Stay tuned. So before I get started on showing the repairs, I just wanted to show you the outside of the camper real quick. We did wash it and scrub it down real well yesterday, so it's looking better. So here, take a look. One of the biggest issues that I have to tackle with this camper, repair-wise, is it has some wood rot that's gotten wet down in the basement storage area of the camper. So I'm gonna have to tear out all that plywood, cut it out, tear it out, do what I gotta do. But I also have to track down where the water's coming from. And so one of the first repairs I'm gonna start with is resealing everything on the roof of the camper. I am waiting on some Eternabond to be come from Amazon. So I'm gonna have to do some of the vents another day, but I do have a couple of the vent caps for the plumbing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that because the tops of them are completely torn off. So all the water is coming right into the top of it and kind of pooling up around it. So there's a good chance it could be getting in there and running down the side of the vent as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that, but I will go ahead and show you all the wood rot and the wet wood down there in the basement area and all the damage. And just so you can see, you know, it is what it is. So it's gonna take some repairs. But I'm just gonna dig in there and get it done. So here we go. So the worst of it is down here near the drain area where all the water is, water controls and the dump valve and all that. As you can see, there's some damage there on the floor. It's just soft plywood. So I'm gonna have to tear all that out. And that plywood actually extends underneath over to the basement area underneath the door. So it's a little damp in there. This area over here, the wood is a little more solid. So anyhow, all that wood that goes this way into that area, I'm gonna have to tear out, and possibly even some over to the other side where the generator spot would be if we decide to put one in. But basically it was just used as storage. That's kind of the thing with water damage. You gotta find where the water's coming in, and basically I think that this camper hasn't been sealed up very well on top for quite some time. As you can see all around the vent, there's kind of a crack around there. It needs to be completely resealed, as well as the cap right there is completely torn off. So I think water is getting down in there and possibly running down as well as on this one. So I'm going to replace those two here on the back left corner and start with that. Then as you can see around the AC, all the old sealant, it's starting to break down. We did wash it real well yesterday and not too much water got in, but I think a little bit did. And some did up around the skylight. We noticed it's a little damp, so but I'm going to be replacing all these seals here probably within the next week. So this looks like it might be a good reason why there's water down this very corner. As you can see, this tool goes right down beside it. There's a big gap beside this vent pipe. It should be sealed up all the way around. The other one was sealed up pretty well. However, this one on the corner, which is right above where all the water damage is, has a big giant hole. I can even move it around in there. So I'm gonna clean this off and fill it up with some sealant and then replace the cap. So here's what I've done so far. Went ahead and put that vent cap on, and I put that vent cap on down there, and I went ahead and sealed around the luggage rack posts. I tightened up all the screws around there and completely sealed it with the lap sealant. So all that's in good shape. Now the next project's going to be the big vents, and I do need to seal around the luggage rack on the other side. So far we've had the camper for a week now. We've been doing work on it all week, and it's coming along, doing a lot of cleaning and a lot of work. As you can see, it is cleaner behind us. So it is looking a whole lot better once we gave it a wash, and still needs to be shined up, but it's getting there. It's looking good. The underside we didn't get to wash because it was sitting on the truck when we washed it. However, the top and the sides and all that is looking pretty good so far. So as we come back around to the back here, you'll see that we've cleaned the back up a good bit. We've taken a lot of the stickers off, and some of the license plates that were on there. We still need to clean up some of the residue. That was where the stickers were, but we're going to get that cleaned up. And as you can see, I'm working on the latches in the basement there. I'll show you that in a second. And Carla's inside, and come in.
Hi.
Say hello.
Working on the table still.
And I've been working on the basement area all week. The basement area had quite a bit of wood rot in there, and I'll show you what I was doing there in just a second. But before we do that, I'm going to go up and I'll show you what I did on the roof. So when we got the camper, it looked like everything on the roof had probably never been resealed, although I think maybe the skylight had been at one point. So I wanted to go ahead and reseal all that and fix the two plumbing vents. The caps had come off, and actually I think that is what caused the water damage that we have down in the basement. Which we knew about when we bought the camper. I knew we were going to fix it. So I'm going to go on up and I'll show you what we've done so far on the roof to seal everything up, and then I'll show you the basement. So as we go on up, you can see everything that I've resealed up here. I've resealed all the vents around the AC and around this vent over here and around the refrigerator and the skylight up in the front. And I also went ahead and replace the cap there and that other cap up there, and the plumbing vents. And this was actually what was causing all the water was going straight down and getting into the basement area. And then I went ahead and sealed up around all of the roof rack and ladder rack areas as well. And so the roof should be all set, sealed up real well. There's a couple more things I may do. We got these little bolts sticking out over there, and up front as well for the fishing rod holder that the other owner put in. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. We may go ahead and pull those out, and then I'm going to have to seal that as well. So that's the roof. We got that done so far.
Hey everybody! Today I'm working on getting the polyurethane off of this table, among the other many projects that we have going on with this camper. But we found this stuff right here will remove the polyurethane, and so now I have the job of doing the table and all the countertops in here that have been coated with this polyurethane that's turning yellow. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do this, and we'll see how it turns out. You have to put a really thick coating on when you start, because we've actually done a few sample areas, and it's just better to put thick coats. We weren't sure this was going to work, so we sampled it before we decided to do the whole camper. And I've just been doing little small sections at a time. So, and then whenever it's ready for you to scrape it off, it'll start sort of bubbling up, and you can tell. And then you just use this little, we have some plastic razor blade scrapers, and they work really well to scrape it off. So I'm going to wait till it dries and then do that here in a minute. Normally with wood, you're supposed to wait 15 to 20 minutes, but it's working more quickly on this laminate countertop. So when it looks like that, it's ready to scrape. And so I'm gonna start scraping it now. These razor blades look good. And whenever you encounter something like that, that means I didn't get enough of the stripper on it, so I got to go back and redo that. So that's what we're going to do to finish out cleaning up these countertops. I just have to do the rest of the camper now, and we are really excited to find that this would simply remove this, and that way we don't have to redo the whole countertops immediately. Eventually we may re-laminate them, but right now we can just do this and clean it up and they'll look good.
So as for the wood rot that we got was from the plumbing vents up on top. I'll show you that. It's down in the plumbing, the water, the drain area for the gray and black drain. Then it goes all the way across the basement. So I'll show you that, what we got going on here. So it was pretty bad so far. I've been basically gutting everything out. I took the actual drain out of the camper, and I'm pulling all the wood out. Anything that was wet, I've basically been pulling the wood out. So that's the drain area, and then it actually carried through all the way over into the rest of the basement area. So I've pretty much got all the wood out now, and then just got to start putting it back together here soon. I got to go get some wood, and so those areas in here, this is actually foam, and then these areas here is where the wood went all the way around the perimeter in the frame. So I just got to go back and get some wood and cut it out and put it back in there and seal it up. It's a pretty big job. Been working on it all week, but I got a little ways to go, good ways to go, but we'll get it back together, and it'll be good and better than new, hopefully, by the time we get done with it and ready to go camping. So all this rotted wood down in the basement, it is pretty bad. However, we did know that it had some water damage when we bought it, and of course, it turns out to be a little bit worse than originally thought, although I knew it was pretty bad to begin with. But I figured we could dive in there and tackle it, and it's coming along pretty nicely. It is a big job, maybe not for everybody to try to tackle, but I'm pretty confident in my skills, and I've done stuff like this before, so it's not completely new to me. So it is a big job, but I just wanted to show you and disclose that what it is that's going on with that, and because of that, we got a good deal on the camper, but it's going to take a little while to get it fixed, and so we are working on that. And also, we do have a new set of steps for the basement, or for the staircase, and so we got those. I actually bought those on Craigslist from a guy. They're right here. They're like practically brand new, and he had them on a camper that he hardly used, so got them for 50 bucks. So I'm going to be replacing those over there, and I'm going to pull the top step off, clean it up, and paint it as well, because it's kind of, somebody put some yellow on there, yellow tape or paint or something, I think, just and they painted the bottom step yellow as well, just I think so they didn't miss a step. But anyhow, so I'm going to clean that up, paint that as well, and then put the new steps on. So we're getting there, one step at a time. So that's about it for this week. We've been working hard, got a lot done, and what have we done so far? I've resealed the roof. Carla's still currently working on the countertops, tabletops.
Took out the racks in the refrigerator, sanded them a little bit, painted them. Todd fixed the thermistor, and the refrigerator now works.
Yeah, the fridge is working, so that's awesome. Hopefully it'll stay working.
Yeah.
And we've washed the outside, and as I showed you, I've been working on the basement area, trying to get the old wet wood out, and which that's a big adjust, probably the biggest job out of all of them, but once it's done, it'll be great. It'll be good and strong and dried, and we'll never have that problem again as long as I own it, that's for sure. But
we got some of the Sharpie marks off in the bathroom, and they're still there, so we may cover them with some tiles, but we'll figure that out later on. So
yeah, so we've got quite a bit done, and the first week we're still going. We still got plenty to do. So you're gonna get to see it as we go. So until the next video, we'll see you on Runway Roses. Bye bye.